Germany is complicated. The cultural differences are vast. The forests are green and nature is held in high regard. Nothing beats a cold beer on a hot summer's day, or a cheeky dip in a secluded lake. Miles of unending cycle track. A network of key city hubs. Deutsche Bank, Deutsche Bahn, the Mittelstand, German enterprise, East, West, the homeless. The truth is that Germany is diverse. North, South, East, West, every inch of Germany is covered in subcultures, subdialects, regional powers and local councils. Just like any other country, it's complex. Much of its recent past can be gleaned from street names and buildings. It is a country in motion faced with immense challenges. Stereotypes and generalizations are inaccurate, but somewhat still necessary to simplify and communicate a cohesive picture of the country. And I wanted to take the time to update some of the things I've talked about in the last year. Life is fluid and things change. My own opinions and experiences included. So as I just mentioned, Germany is unbelievably diverse, which makes it very difficult to generalize about the country. I'm from the UK, I live in Frankfurt am Main, and these are just my experiences and my observations. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments below. Work-life balance was one of those buzzwords of 2019, and I think it still is to a certain extent. The issue I have with this word is that it's very subjective and means different things to different people. The workload and expectations vary greatly, not only by industry, but also by company, and at the end of the day, it just really comes down to your direct manager. Employees do enjoy a lot of rights here in Germany, and in general are really protected quite well from employer mistreatment, and this is a great benefit of living here and working in a traditional job. Many office-based jobs do offer flexible work, meaning you can organize your life as you see fit. However, I would say that the 40-hour work week is kind of the minimum in Germany for a full-time job, and I would say that it kind of edges more towards 50 hours a week. And regarding the work culture in general, a lot is dependent on where you actually come from. So if you're coming from the US, it might seem like Germans don't work long hours, that they really separate private and work life. On the other hand, compared to many other European countries, Germans do work a lot, and a career is something to be taken seriously and is really a very dominant thing in a person's life here in Germany. Germans do prefer to separate their private and work life, but as is the case elsewhere, it's becoming increasingly difficult to do this given the recent global developments. The cost of living, an ever-changing issue. I made a video about the cost of living in Germany last year, which is still on my channel, but it's already completely out of date because prices have risen a lot here. And it's probably no surprise that a visit to the supermarket will cost you 20 to 30% more than it did a year ago. Of course, energy costs and rent have also increased, and I don't know many people that have gotten a 20 to 30% pay increase, so we have essentially all gotten a bit poorer. I was also pretty shocked to discover when I went back to the UK in October that many supermarket items were actually cheaper there than in Germany. The cost of living is something which is constantly changing, so I'm not going to say too much here. I will just say that Germany has gotten more expensive, and I wouldn't necessarily list this as sort of a benefit of living here anymore. Having said that, given that Germany is such a key country in Europe, it is still relatively cheap. Recycling and the unforeseen side effects. One thing that I think has really become uniquely German, I don't know this in any other country, are the bin looters. So if you visit any major German city, you will no doubt see rather haggard and desperate individuals rifling through the bins or the trash. And unfortunately, they spread the contents of the rubbish bins then all over the street in many cases in a desperate search for bottles. So if you don't know, Germany has a deposit system, and most bottles and cans are sold with a deposit. And if you return these bottles, then you can get money, and it's usually around 25 per bottle, although it does vary. And I'm not really too sure how I feel about this relatively new subculture. I mean, on the one hand, it's great that there is sort of an extra way to earn money. On the other hand, at least for me, it is really a very stark example of a class of people that are really struggling and only managing to just scrape by, which really is heartbreaking. On a more positive note, the festivals returned in 2022 with a bang. There were more sort of street festivals than ever, and this for me is still really a great benefit of living here in Germany. University is also essentially free, which is a massive benefit compared to the US or the UK. I cannot tell you how unnerving it is to enter the workforce with student debt. And it was definitely a huge goal of mine to pay off my debt as quickly as humanly possible. Germany also has very robust social security and many programs aimed at really helping those in need. In short, I would say that German society is one which cares. It's a country that really goes to great lengths to look after everyone and make sure that no one is left behind. And even if this is not always achieved, it is a country that really spends a lot of time contemplating the hard questions of life. And it is these values and this philosophy which makes the country so attractive. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but there are many reasons to love this place, which is why I am very grateful to be living here.